holiday, and I'm missing you this side of the world. It's strange to come back and not have Taylor here and hear her loud voice around camp, but I'm sure she's having a wonderful time. We spoke to Taylor, Ali and I spoke to Taylor a few days ago, and she seems as if she was loving every minute of it, so I'm glad you're enjoying it, Taylor. But we have had a bit of luck. You can see Thandi's now sitting right next to us, and it's most definitely her now that we've come closer, without a doubt, that beautiful face that she has. She's one of the prettier leopards, in my opinion, in this area. I really do enjoy spending time with her, and she's a little bit on the grumpy side. I think she's a bit hot at the moment. It is excessively warm for a leopard, so I'm sure she's just on the warm side. And interestingly enough, from what I can gather, where we are now is actually where the guys said that Hosanna had the kill. So the kill that I showed you in the tree apparently is Hosanna's kill, and then her kill is somewhere here. So she was coming to check out what was going on with Hosanna this morning, and as she was checking out what was happening in the tree, a steenbok came running straight towards her, and she grabbed it and killed it. So there's two carcasses in this potential area. I'm just not sure which where is where at the moment and who is who. I can also hear the Franklin's alarm calling, so I think Hosanna must be somewhere close by as well. But you can see she's found herself a little bit of shade just to lie down and have a bit of a snooze. David, you want to know if female leopards are better at climbing trees than male leopards? Well, David, no, not really. The male leopards are just as good at climbing as the females are. In fact, the males can take up much bigger carcasses than what the females can because of that extra amount of power that they have in their bigger body size. But what the females have is they have a lot more agility when it comes to being in trees, and particularly if they get chased up by things like lions, you'll find that they're able to go into areas where the branches are a lot more narrow and a lot thinner, and they can then balance on those smaller branches, whereas the males tend to be a little bit clumsy in those big areas. In those areas where it's a little bit tight and where the branches are a little bit thinner. So you'll find females can go into places that males can't, but in terms of the actual climbing ability, both of them are just as adept at climbing as the other. There's really no difference between males and females, and both can do it very, very well. But you can see she's grooming quite a bit as well. So when they lie in the grass like this, they often will groom a lot, especially if they've been sleeping for some time, because they'll pick up little parasites, so things like ticks will crawl onto them. You'll find that their little bits of fur will dislodge as they've been rolling around trying to get comfortable, and so they often do groom themselves just prior to lying down or to moving. So it's quite a common thing to see. Interestingly enough, though, she hasn't actually eaten too much. I'm sure it's just been too warm for her today. This temperature is a lot warmer than what we've had over the last few months, and it takes a bit of time for the cats to kind of get used to it. And you'll find that they spend their time then in the shade like this, where they're going to kind of pant and take it very easy and make sure that they can just cool down a little bit, and then she'll feed in the cool of the night later. So I'm hoping that if we spend time with her, that Hosanna will arrive at some point and maybe go to that other carcass in the tree, and if he does, then maybe she'll get up and take us to her carcass. We also know that the lions are not far away at all. So Tax said to me this morning, when they found Thandi and she made the kill, the lions were actually, they could see the lions in the background walking through. So the lions are also somewhere around here. So it's a perfect recipe for a whole bunch of action to play out once the sun goes down. I think prior to that, we're going to have a situation where most of these cats are going to be fairly sleepy and just taking it a little easy in the hot weather. One nice thing is that there's at least a breeze. You can feel there's this nice breeze just kind of blowing across, and it's a good place for her to be. She's on this kind of drainage section, and it funnels through here, and it's much nicer when that wind blows than when you're out in the sun. She's also found herself some nice shade, so it's not too bad. Shame, Michael, is it hot today? She is looking magnificent. Starting to get a little bit older. So I believe a lot of you are commenting that I've already had luck on my first day back. It is quite strange. I don't know why these things happen. It's really was just more a fluke than anything else. As we kind of drove past, it was just something out the corner of our eye that seemed strange, and well, we got lucky that there was a leopard. I think if I had to count the amount of times that I've reversed to try and see something that I thought was out of place, and it had been just a rock or tree or grass, it would probably be 9 out of 10 times. So we get lucky every now and then, and well, I suppose positive vibes mean we get to see good things at times. If she was lying where she is now, there's not a chance we would have spotted her from where we did earlier. It's now she's gone completely flat, and she's really camouflaging very well. I think that's going to be her for a lot of the afternoon. Every now and then she picks up her head when the Franklin's alarm call. I'm sure she knows that there's another leopard in this general vicinity, given that she saw Hasana this morning. So sure, she just kind of picks her head up every now and then. Also, there will be a scent of lions that have been drifting around in this area, and that will mean that she'll be a bit wary of what's going on. So she won't be as fast asleep as she would be if she was all on her own and she knew, sure, she hadn't seen lions or leopards during the morning. So a little bit more nervous. But look at that breathing, how fast it is. So that's all just to try and cool that body down. So much like a dog panting, it's the exact same thing. She just opens her mouth, rapid breathing rate, just to try and get that body temperature to come down as much as possible, to try and deal with this hot weather. She's found herself a good spot now, though. It looks like the perfect place to have a good rest. It's nice and shady and cool. I can tell you in the sun, though, it is not so pleasant, because where we're sitting is in the sun a little bit, and it is a warm, warm day, that's for sure. And like I say, I think it feels like we've just missed spring completely. Spring kind of came and went in about 2 days, and we've now straight into summer. And given that the temperatures are only getting worse, it seems as though we're going to have a very short spring this year. The nice thing about this time of the year, and why I'm very excited to be back for this next little month or so, is that we're going to see so many changes in the bush over the next few weeks. We're going to get a lot more flowering plants, which is fantastic news. So we'll get our wild pears flowering and start to see the scotias flowering as well. So it's going to be really cool to see this sort of change that the bush is going to go, particularly if we get a bit of a rainstorm that might just green everything up, and we'll have an explosion of life. Now, I believe it's not just myself and Taylor. There is also Mr. Scotty Dyson, who's driving around the Mara and is looking around and trying to see what else he can find. I believe he's been spending lots of time with the cheetahs, so hopefully he'll have some more luck with those predators.